Erroneous readings from a flight monitoring system could have caused its plane to dive. Well, I've been talking about this to aviation analyst Jerry Sujatman in Jakarta and asked him first what he sees as the priorities in the aftermath of this crash.
Well, the first important questions will be, how did it go down? We saw the photo that has been released by Ethiopian Airlines of the crash site. It indicates a high-speed impact, so that narrows down the possibilities somewhat. We already looked at some of the data that's been published from what the aircraft transmitted. So these experts around the world, aside from the official investigators, will be looking at that over the next 24 hours to see whether this matches certain patterns or certain probabilities that's known to the type of aircraft or suspected to be present at the time.
There's a couple of factors that I'd like to ask you to talk about to do with this aircraft, the 737 MAX, which is new. It's very new. The angle of attack. Talk to us about this and the possibility that this type of plane may stall.
Okay, the angle of attack is basically the difference between the path of the wing and the direction of the wing direction of the wind coming onto the wing. So it's a difference between, to put it in simple words, the angle of the nose to the relative incoming wind. The higher that goes, the more lift you get, but after a certain angle, you start to lose lift because the climb angle becomes too much for the airflow to flow smoothly over the wings. This relies on a sensor that is on the nose of the aircraft. It is known from the previous crash, the Lion Air crash in late October, that this sensor was problematic for that particular flight, and that there is a possibility, as Boeing already announced, that it might, should there be an error on that sensor, it might send the wrong signals to the aircraft automation that will send the aircraft from pushing its nose down. That is, this is what we feared. Could this be another one? But it's still very early days.
And just very briefly, another factorability of unstable vertical speed. That's something that's being worried about.
Yes, the unstable vertical speed, it needs to be looked at. The data that's been published will be studied by experts around the world, because we need to know whether that is the actual aircraft moving or whether there was a erroneous data that's been transmitted from the aircraft. Again, the telltale signs of what we call unreliable airspeed is the difficulty for the pilots to maintain a stable flight path.
Well, that was talking about what the investigation will search for first. With me is travel journalist Simon Calder. I suppose, Simon, that is the first thing, isn't it? Looking for the black boxes.
Yes, the cockpit voice recorder, the flight data recorder, which, given the crash site is so close to effectively the headquarters of Ethiopian Airlines, the investigators, they will be recovered very quickly and they will be analysed initially very quickly as well to determine, among other things, whether there is a connection, as we've been hearing, possibly with the Lion Air crash last October.
Yeah, whether it's not just this plane, but this kind of plane. And you know, when I look at Ethiopian Airlines, for example, celebrating its delivery of the 737 MAX, this